hickory stick. You were my queen in calico. I was your barefoot bicycle. You rode on my sled. I loved you, Joe, when we were a couple of kids. Thank you very much.
Now we'll have a talk by Mr. Wheatley to sing.
Thank you, Bob. I know it isn't good public speaking to start off with an apology, but I woke up this morning with a fever blister on my tongue and a swollen tongue, so if I get it twisted around my eye teeth, please excuse it. It's a great deal of pleasure that I come up here again this year. I was invited last year by Mr. Holt to make a short talk to the seniors, and it is a pleasure again this year to speak to the class of 1953. For several years it's been the practice of some of the leading radio programs to repeat their Christmas programs, such programs as Amos and Andy and Lum and Abner and a few of the others. Since this occasion is practically the same as last year, with new faces in the graduating class, of course, and to them it's much more important than it was last year, the remarks I'm going to make this morning will necessarily be quite similar to the ones I made last year. First, as the custom of observing a baccalaureate sermon or Sunday, this custom has been observed for many years. It started out in the colleges and universities, and then it was shifted over in the high schools now. Most of them will have a Sunday that they have a sermon and a service. This name baccalaureate comes from two words. One is bachelor, and that is, of course, a bachelor's degree, and the other is laureus, which is for, meaning laurels. This service is usually held on the Sunday preceding graduation exercises. And as far as the class of Cumberland 1953 is concerned, that is going to be this evening in the high school gymnasium at 8 o'clock. And the class is chosen for their speaker, Reverend Norman Chestnut, who is a pastor of the Bradbury Free Methodist Church. And needless to say, you're cordially invited to come out. There'll be plenty of seats. They won't be quite as nice as these, or we'll have to have it in the gym. And naturally, the bleachers not having backs on them, it will be a little bit more uncomfortable. There are many things that we teach in high school now that weren't taught when I was in high school or when many of you people were in high school. One of them, I believe I got that mixed up. I believe I meant to say that there are many things that are taught that were not taught when we were in school. But one of them that are still not taught is religion. Now we know that religion is important, and it is not because that we think it is unimportant that it is not being taught in the schools. It is far from that. But it has always been thought that the school and the church should be kept separate. However, we are firmly convinced that without the full cooperation of the home, of the church, of the community, and of the school, it would be impossible to prepare these boys and girls to go out into the world to make their living with the success that we hope they will attain. It's quite possible that in the near future we will be receiving letters from prospective employers, from schools, asking for the records of these young men and women who have just graduated or who are to graduate tomorrow evening from the Cumberland High School. They will probably, on these requisitions, ask for the courses they have taken, and some of them will ask for the grades they have made. However, we find more and more that the grades that a person makes is not as important as some of the other things that they are trying to get out of their schooling. A lot of these inquiries will be more interested in such things as how did these boys and girls get along with their teachers? How did they get along with their fellow students? What kind of problems did they have while they were in school? There might be such questions as, do you think this person is honest? If you were filling this type of position, would you hire this young person in your school or in your job? Is the candidate reliable? And many other questions are asked now of these people who are going on to school or who are looking for a job. As I mentioned last year, we do not have a letter grade telling whether a person is honest, whether a person is reliable. You can't put down an A or a B or a C, or you can't put down an 85 or a 90 to say how honest a person is. But all of these things taken together make up the person's individuality, and those things are what they are recommended on. And the school personnel changes over a period of years. So these recommendations, for the most part, are going to have to come from the minister, from the Sunday school superintendent, or from the neighbors of these boys and girls that know what kind of boys and girls they have been. And again, let me say to these graduates, as I did last year to the class of 1952, that as you leave this community, as several of you will be, whether it's going on to school, whether you're going out and take a job, whether some of you are going into the armed forces, and no matter where you go, whether it's in this state or another state, or perhaps in a armed service or a army camp someplace in another country, you will find someplace near you that there is a church. Maybe it's not of this denomination, but nevertheless you will be just as welcome in that church as you are here in your own home church.